What if it's like an elevator idea? I have this elevator idea, which is that you're you're on this elevator that as you advance as a person, as you begin to actualize yourself, and as you begin to harmonize the complexity inside of yourself through contact with love, your life is like rising up. And as it rises up, everything around you starts transforming. Synchronicities begin increasing. And this is where it gets narcissistic, and this is where it gets crazy, but world events start becoming better. All of a sudden, weird technological advancements start happening around you. Now they found a planet that they think can sustain life. Now they found a meteor from Mars that seems to have an egg inside of it that shows that there's life. All of a sudden, as this thing advances, all of a sudden someone's invented teleportation. Meanwhile, your personal life is getting better and better and better because you've managed to get on the crest of the wave of time. And you've abandoned all the varieties of yourself in the subjective multiverse that you used to be, and they're all in hell. Some of them are at war. Some of them are existing in a world where a plague is struck. Some of them have had a heart attack and are now paralyzed. Who knows? So when you get this like weird thing in the Bible, in the New Testament, that Christ talks about, I bring eternal life. Believe in me and you'll have eternal life. What if what he's saying is connect with this like love energy, this super love energy that exists in the universe, and you will watch your entire planet transform. I even think like Jehovah's Witnesses might believe this idea, like you get your own planet. You know what I mean? Maybe we wake up this round. Maybe we wake up this go around, all of us. Maybe they come up with something that doubles our lifespan in our lives. Some nanotech that reconfigures our bodies to cure aging. In our lives, that could happen. And we double our lifespans. And then in that amount of time, some other great advancement happens. And the next thing you know, we've uploaded our consciousness into some spiritual cloud computer, and we just wake up. Bling, eyes open, the eyes of the planet open. That could happen.
I think as soon as you start to feel like this sense of any sort of congratulation or something, it's kind of a 2 steps forward and 1 step back or something. There's a sense that, especially with the Krishnas and with the Buddhists that we were talking to in college, that was what I was always, if you remember, I was always fucking with them. Because I was like, there was a sense that they really thought they were done, in a sense.
Right. I know exactly what you mean, dude. It's not novelty. They're not representing the force of novelty in the universe. They're not representing what I've come to know in the times where I'm lucky enough where I feel like I have made contact with it. It's always brand new. It's always brand new. It's like infinitely renewing itself. And anytime you come in contact with it, it would be very hard to structure any kind of symbol system off of it because it's constantly transforming, constantly complexifying, harmonizing, and becoming more and more beautiful. And maybe that's all it does for infinity. And maybe it's a funny thing humans do where they catch one glimpse of it in one of its forms, build a whole church and religion off of this one form, and then by the time they revisit again, or one or two of them contact this thing, whether it's an inside or an outside thing, it's a brand new thing. It's like your entire religion, your entire symbol system, your entire system of ceremony, your entire system of ritual came from a person contacting one moment in a river. But the water is totally different now. It's a brand new river, and it always will be a brand new river. So it's silly to be trying it's a silly thing to try to attach yourself to symbol systems representing the river instead of being just in that moment of truth. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And then there's this thing about the beginning of our conversation, that sense of, does predestination mean within this lifetime? Does it mean within several lifetimes? I don't really like when people get really didactic about that, especially when they start going on about, and I'm, I was this in the last lifetime, and next lifetime maybe I'll realize this, and blah blah blah. It's just like, you know what? It all starts to sound way too confident, like the Buddhist that is so proud of his new belt and his new robe and shit. You know, it's like, it's just kind of like, you know, I can see that you're no different than Herbie down at the bank. That, like, you know, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, you've taken your place in line, and you're clearly so happy to be a petty little motherfucker that daddy told you've done good now. You know,
Yeah.
You know, and that is certainly not the point. The point, this is about challenging your mind. You know, this is not about sitting back down and you know, putting on a fucking outfit.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, putting on a god clown outfit like some like some kid in a Star Wars outfit. That's like adult Star Wars. You know how like you'll see kids at the booth and they're dressed in like fairy outfits. That's what grown-ups do when they put on their fucking silly priest collar and they're like, they put on their
completely.
I'm a god person. They go around. They're god experts. They're experts on God. They go around like they're God experts. It's the funniest fucking thing ever when you see someone all suited up. There was someone in the elevator all suited up with a fucking white thing and weird red crosses on his shirt. And he shot me this look like, do you need to talk, fella? You know what I mean?
You know what? And I'll tell you something I've learned through music that I wouldn't have learned anywhere else. But that the culture of music criticism, and especially at this day and age, the culture of the crowd and the culture of the listener nowadays is like, I mean, everything in our culture has been invaded by pseudo expertise every fucking where, dude, and a lot of it has to do with the sort of opening that the internet has given the consumer to bitch endlessly about how, you know, if only the new Mercedes had a better turning signal. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, at some point you've got to be cut off. You've got to shut the fuck up and just like live your life and stop talking about living it, but just live your fucking life, you know.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, that it threatens all of us with madness. I mean, we're all sickened by the reflection of each other's like own petty squabbles about fucking nothing. I mean, have you ever looked at fucking Yelp? I mean, like, and like looked up like, well, these Cheerios clearly don't have the texture,
dude,
of the old Cheerios.
Dude, I just saw this thing on Reddit, which was an Amazon review of a carbon monoxide detector, and the first sentence was, "This saved my child's life," and they'd given it 4 stars out of 5. It says the first sentence is, "This saved my child," but it still didn't get 5 stars. It still didn't.
Well, that somehow, I feel like things have sort of changed. I don't know if they have, but like, you know, when you're talking to a guy in a monk outfit, he's probably memorized all the sutras. You know what I mean? He's got it memorized. So he's gonna beat you at the game. You know what I mean? So in other words, he's gonna prove to you through literal, you know, symbolism that he is an expert, which, you know, spiritually means nothing. You know, has nothing to do with actual evolution. So, but there's something about modern society where we've gotten to a point where people are experts, but they know nothing. They've never even studied. We're talking about massive fleets of people who have never even studied what they're lecturing, you know, people on. You know, like, meaning the consumer now is telling you, you know, how to, you know, paint oil paintings when they've never even touched a fucking canvas.
Well,
what
they've learned is confidence. Like, what people, there's a quality in dumb people, and the quality is often confidence meeting this state of knowing nothing. And that combination is one of the most trying things to be around. You know, because you just know that you know what they're saying is wrong. Like they
Okay. And so in that way, okay, let's say clearly that's not new. Clearly that is not new. Now you go back to Socrates, talking about, to another philosopher about, clearly everything is not made of water and this is why. And some guy walks by
yes.
in the back of a fucking wagon. I don't know if the wheel was invented, but like, and he's just like, Shell's like, fuck you, fat ass, or whatever, which was, the version of comments on YouTube back then, or whatever. And Socrates has, in a moment, with his shitty comb over and his cheap fucking toga, there's a moment of shame where he's like, why am I doing this? Why am I even communicating with anyone at all?
But I do know what you mean. What you're talking about is there is always a prevalence of dopes, of fools, of idiots, of morons, and they always have a lot of confidence. And quite often they've infiltrated social circles. They've always managed to worm their way into a place where they can shit on great conversations or stink things up. I've noticed it, man. It almost seems intentional at times, where like a spaceship of retards at one point just launched a lot of operatives onto this planet with the only direction being to ruin conversations. Just ruin conversation. I don't care how you do it. Just do it.
Yeah, the thread killer.
Yeah, the thread killer. Just fuck it. Just fuck up conversations, then come back on the ship, and then we'll fly to some other planet and ruin it. Because you never know, man. Like, this is something I think about. There have been times, I think, when people have been in a deep conversation, and that guy's rolled by on the wagon, you look at these two queers, get a room! And they forgot what they were talking about, and then the time machine didn't get invented. You know what I mean? Like
exactly, completely, totally.
Well, look, man, we should wrap it up. Bye.
All right, only in the a-hole.